your analysis and your recommendations to your customer, okay? So why is this so important to do this and do this well? What do you think?
So that they know why they should do the next step.
Well, yeah, and not everything works. Okay, so if you don't want people like, that sucked, I'm not doing that again, you've got to take that process and make sure that they see, like the union sees the good things about what did happen so that they will do something again. Okay? So you want to manage the value, okay? So people, if left to their own devices, can have the wrong expectation level. I thought we were going to get a 30% response rate. And you're like, no, where did you get that idea? You know, but you have to manage that. Because if you leave them to their own processes, they're going to go, oh, well, I didn't get what I wanted. Okay? That's why it's very important to keep communicating what is happening, how it's going, what you've seen so far, what you want to tweak to them so that there's value in the process and not just the campaign, the doing of it, okay? So basically, if your campaign was meeting expectations, like it did what it was supposed to do, you're going to go back in and say, okay, we thought this was going to happen and it did happen, so we're correct. Where else can we apply it? Okay? You know, now, you always want continuous improvement. Hey, we were hoping this would work. We got 2.3. That's 30% higher than the standard. I'm really glad about that, but I think we can get better than that, and here's what I recommend. Okay? If it's falling short of expectations, what do you want to do?
We look at it and see what we need to.
Okay, so you want to isolate, you know, what is positive. Okay, so go back to the union thing. Hey, the messaging's relevant to the older females and males, a little bit relevant to the younger females, not relevant at all to the males. What can that possibly mean? And if I remember, the messaging was about taking care of your family and stuff. It was very nurturing. So just like Jerry just said, I have a son who's 33 years old and not married yet. Maybe nurturing messaging didn't work with a bunch of young males that aren't married yet. But maybe it worked on the females because females are generally more nurturing. Possible. Okay? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we should have like, yeah, you know, don't pay that on healthcare so you can get your motorcycle. So basically, though, you want to look at your high points, and you want to go back and, you know, here's what was good about it. And this is what it tells us, okay? Let's prioritize like we did with like Twitter. Like, okay, let's not focus on Twitter. It's not the audience that you want. We didn't get what we wanted, so let's just set that aside and let's focus everywhere. So it helps you strip out the bright spots, and make decide where you want to prioritize, and then you say, okay, like, well, what do I want to modify? Now, what's interesting is we changed that subject line on the email mid-flight, okay? Because what happened was I was helping this customer and then I was traveling. So when I got back to him, he's like, yeah, I sent the email already, and I was like, we didn't finalize the subject line. What did you say? So he's like, oh, I said $250, you know, win $250 gift card or something. And I was like, oh, shoot. So I was like, hey, you know, that's going to be a problem because it's going to be bait and switch. They're going to think it's like, oh, wow, I want to win something. And then they open it, and it's like, oh, the damn union, you know, like. So I'm thinking that actually might hurt us. Let's send the second one out and change the subject line and get back on message. So we literally changed that on the fly. First email went out with the big focus on the gift. Second one went out, you know, a week later with a completely different message. So that's the thing about, you know, cross-channel stuff is I can change that on the fly. If I get to a landing page and you're not moving off the landing page, so the first part of my response is not moving, I don't want all the rest of the people to respond and not move, so I got to change the landing page copy, right? So you told me yesterday or the day before yesterday, like you have a specific timing, like you know when they're going to get half of their response. So if you looked at the half of that halfway marker and were like, this isn't where I want it to be, you can change what's on the landing page. You can change the copy in that email. So you want to be looking at this as it's happening so that if you have to sort of zig and zag, you can do that and ultimately impact the overall result. Okay, so what I'm telling you to do is don't be like, yeah, we mailed it on the 13th, I'm going to go back and see how it's doing, you know, a month from now. No. Okay, because you tweak stuff. Okay, so your considerations on falling short is changing too much at one time gums up the works too. Okay, because if I'm like, oh, I'm going to change the subject line, I'm going to change the offer, I'm going to change the, you know, I'm going to take out a page, I'm going to do all this stuff, and then it starts working. What was it? Okay, so I took the survey page out, I changed the subject line, and I changed the headline on the landing page. What was the magic? I don't know. Okay, so you want to say, okay, I think my gut's telling me, you know, for not gut, it'll be because of all the stuff you've been learning, but I believe that our messaging is wrong on that page. And then customer's going to say, okay, well, let's increase the offer. And you need to say, well, let's think about that, because if we do that, we can't tell whether it's the words or the offer. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so let's change one of the two so that we can measure the impact. Does that make sense? All right, cross-channel campaigns can be modified on the fly, so you want to do that. And you also, the other consideration is, and Jerry was telling me, or Scott was telling me, hold on, so the other day, like he does enough of this stuff that he knows roughly when that half of the response is going to be, and it's called the doubling day. Okay, so you know you want to be watching that and be like, I don't think we're where we need to be, or yeah, we're doing great. I'm happy with where we are, you know, at this point in the campaign. So you got to be watching that. Okay, what were you going to say?
So if you shoot out these, whatever it was, like 2,900, and I don't remember what the first one was, but you know, some people did finish the survey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when if you send out again, you're not.
Yeah, you're going to take them out.
So they don't see the same one again.
Yeah, why?
The ones that didn't finish it, right?
Right, I don't want to do that because that'll make it mad. I just did it last week. Why are you sending it to me again? Okay, so every time you send it out again, now can you mail to people who hit but didn't convert?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to change some of the messaging. Okay, so if I got you to get to that initial landing page but you didn't move forward, then I need to say something different on that landing page. Okay, all right, and then it's exceeding expectations, yippee, okay. Document the best practices. This is why I think this worked. This is why, you know, how we apply this to other things moving forward. And identify, you know, like you still always want better if you can get it, okay? So if the campaign does like super great, then you say, you know what? We might be able to do even better, but I don't want to mess up everything. Let's take like the smallest performing segment and let's see if we can do a little bit better there. Okay, so you never want to like, if it exceeded expectations, like throw the whole thing out and start over. You're going to keep what was good, okay? And then you want to ask them for testimonials so that you have something to talk to other customers about. If it exceeded expectations, they're blissfully happy, right? And you can get references at that point. Remember I said it's not good to ask for references, not out of the blue, okay? But at that point, when someone's like, this is so great, I love it, that's when you ask. Hey, by the way, is there any other things going on at this company that applying these same things might get them similar results? Or you have any colleagues outside of the company that do similar things that might need similar results, okay? All right, so the idea is that you're building a closed loop, okay? So I have outbound direct channels, direct mail, email, whatever I'm doing. I go to that landing page where I'm tracking stuff. I'm creating data because of that I can then analyze and apply to the next initiative. So I'm going around in a circle. Does that make sense? Okay, so this was a Canon thing. So they wanted to generate awareness and boost lead generation for their copier back in the day, okay? 3 segments, print service providers, major commercial printers, and management of commercial printers, I think, implant managers and commercial management. So they had 3 different sets of messaging, so it looked like this. So I've got some personalization in there. I've got a Pearl in there for response, and that little box thing, see how it's changing? Slightly different copy based on those 3 segments. Not radically, like we're not writing 1,000 words different. I just have slightly different copy, okay? And then they also had a banner advertisement that's changing. okay? And then they had a landing page, which is way too busy, but this is an old campaign. Back in the day, we weren't as succinct as we needed to be. Okay? So you got a good landing page. There was a lot of valuable data up there that, based on the segment, see how that Alpha Graphics quote is up there? That segment quote changed based on the 3 segments. Yeah, which is good. Okay, so now I got data. Okay, so I want to be able to look at the data and say, what did we think it was going to be, what actually happened, and right? Okay, so if you look at this, they were testing a lot of stuff in here. So we have direct mail, online, direct mail follow-up. So 2 mailings. So I had recipients, I have responses. There's my response rate. So what looks good? Okay, so what is that? What was the thing that delivered that? Okay, but that sucks for us, okay, because it's not print. Okay, but that looks like the highest. Okay, then we keep on going. Look at the conversion rates, though. Yeah. Now, direct mail work better. It's easier to click on a banner ad, doesn't mean I'm qualified. Okay, so when it really, if I just started making decisions down here, I would have been wrong. But I'm up here, and I can see that, you know what, that direct mail is working great, and the direct mail follow-up is working great. I'm getting good leads, like leads that are hot instantly, and nurture leads. Okay? Look at the difference between the number of leads coming out of that. Okay? It's because it's easy to click on that banner ad. More people are going to click who aren't qualified. Okay? So then, you can look down here and you can look at, the money that can drive, because you ask good questions. What's one of these boxes cost? What's the lifetime value of a new customer? I ask those questions. So then I can kind of see their conversion rate is 10%. So for every 10% of their leads convert to sales, okay? So historically, this is the kind of revenue that they drove. We're hoping we get this, but we're sitting here.
Wow. Okay?
Now, this doesn't have to, this is big dollars and stuff, but this could be your vet guy. I add 10 more customers and a customer's worth $15,000. That's $150,000 for me. So that's basically how you want to end up. Here's what had been happening, Mr. Union. You spent $5,000, you got nothing. Okay? Your conversion rate is every time you talk to 50 people, you get 1 sale. I don't know what the conversion rate was. So we're planning for this, but here's what actually happened. So even though you haven't called anyone, you had potential opportunity that was high. Okay, because now, even though ultimately I didn't sign any members, if I'm presenting this data back, who's the problem lie with? Them. Because they had this opportunity and they didn't do anything about it. So I say, okay, let's fix that. So we go again, we're going to fix that. Okay? And then you can look at inside the segments. Here's the segments. Which one worked well? The best one's retail quick printer in terms of response, right? Okay? Then look at the conversions. What's the best one? Commercial printer management. Why is that? Well, they had money. Okay? So even if I want that CLC 5000 or whatever the heck it was, I want it. That's a bigger decision for a retail quick printer than it is for a commercial printer, who can be like, sure, I'll spend $100,000 for that. But somebody at a retail quick printer had to really analyze whether they were going to spend $100,000. So good leads, bigger problem on the conversion because of the amount of the sale. Okay, so stuff like that you want to try to see, like, is that happening? Like, you got leads, but they didn't convert. Why didn't they convert? What could be the problem here? Okay. Now, ultimately, remember we talked about the big companies, talking about granular and all that? Like, you could look at this from a market research thing, and you could say, I need another price plan. So this direct mail campaign could tell pricing, they need another price plan. Because they're interested, they just can't afford it. So how can we change the pricing? So these things are really good. I love this stuff, okay? We're going to skip the exercise. All right, so in summary, You can always learn something, okay? Even if that 5,000 and I got nothing from that, if they'd have been smart and looked at that, I could say, okay, here's what I tried to tell people, it didn't work. So we need to change what we're telling people. Okay, if that's all you learned, that's better than just doing the same thing over and over again and not getting any result, right? Okay, so you can always learn something. Learning what doesn't work is as critical as learning what does work, so you don't keep doing it. Take control of the process by you being proactive. Hey, I'm looking at, it's day 2. I'm looking at the response rate on that landing page. It's okay. I'm not, totally thrilled with it. Now, it could be early, but, now that I look back at that, maybe we want to change that headline. Like, if you're on top of that, and they say, no, I'm good with it. Let's let it ride out. Okay, that's still okay. You got what you want. You're in control of the process. You're making them think about it. Okay? The thing you don't want to do is let it happen. If they didn't get what they want, and 6 months later, hey, want to do another one? Because what's going to happen? No. Okay? So even if it's not doing what you exactly wanted, you want to be like, let's look at what it tells us. You want to let's talk about what it is telling us. Okay? Does that all make sense? Everybody happy? Okay. Presenting your your findings. Okay. So what we just did a minute ago, you're doing yourself. What does this mean? What does this tell me? Okay? Then you want to present it back to your customer. Okay? And you want to plan your sales call attack. So, hey, this is really great. We worked on, let's say it's an automobile dealership. And you just drove people in to buy cars, like that example I showed you earlier, way back in the beginning. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to report that we sold 60% of the cars that got sold this month, were because of this campaign. I'm not going to go, yippee, aren't we wonderful, and leave. I want to be prepared to say, hey, let's look and see if we can do the same thing with your service. What if we could get more people in here, not appointments and getting those service appointments. So once you kind of look at it and see what it tells you, before you go back in there, you want to have a plan of what I want to do. So like Scott, you want to be able to go, hey, this is working great with existing donors. I really like it. Now, it occurs to me that you've got donors that give you $50 a year, and you got donors that give you $500 a year. What if we did some different things for them? Can we get that to $750? Let's talk about that. So you want to have a plan. You don't want to just go in there, isn't it great? See ya. Okay? Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. Include interim and final results presentations in the project timeline. This is part of the sales process. When you say, hey, here's what we're going to do, here's the timeline for it, you want to say, specifically about when those first results should be coming in. So you're going to say, week 2, we're going to sit down, go over what we've got so far. That becomes part of the project plan. Okay? If you don't know yet, because you've done it the first time, then you're going to say in advance, okay, at the end of the first week, we're going to look at what we have and see if we need to make tweaks. So let's go ahead and get that meeting on the calendar for Friday morning, blah, blah, blah. That before they even start. Because you don't want to be chasing them when you think something needs to change and you can't get a hold of them. Because your window will close and you'll end up with less than what you could have gotten from result side. Does that make sense? Okay, so build those meetings into the timeline. Set expectation about if they need to give you anything. Okay, so in that first meeting on Friday, I'm going to need any phone calls that came in. So if you can track any phone calls you're getting that come in, we're going to need that data. At the end of the first month, I'm going to need you to run me a pipeline report and be able to tell me how many leads you have in the pipeline now. You don't wait until you want to talk about it to ask for it, because what happens if you do that? I'm too busy, I can't do it. Okay, so set it up in advance. Okay, and you want to present from a position of strength. So don't be bopping in there with the proof for an envelope. I'm just dashing in, I'm going to dash out. And they go, hey, this thing isn't working at all. And you haven't looked at the data, and you don't know, you don't have your thoughts together, and you're not sure what to say to them, and you're like, okay, backpedaling. Okay? So if you have a campaign running, and you're going in there for something else, you want to look at that data before you go. You don't want to be surprised. Okay? All right, so this is just an example of like a implementation plan, okay? So provide sample record data. Remember we said we need to see that data? So you build that into the plan. You can say, okay, here's the timeline, here's what we're going to do. Initial results review down at the bottom. So it's built right into the timeline, okay? And you can look at, okay, so programming complete, letters drop on March 22nd, and on March 30th, we're having a meeting to go over the results, right in the timeline, okay? And then then we have a final one at the end, okay? Sample results review, okay? So example, association fundraising strategy update, okay? So you're going to say, I'm going to present, this is a live one that I did with a customer that, the names have been changed to protect the innocent. So, okay, Mr. Customer, we're having a meeting. Here's our agenda. We're going to review where we started, what our objectives were, what the update is on what we've learned so far, what's going on with the initiatives. We're going to talk about, the next steps. That's all part of the thing. So you set that agenda up, and then you can move through it. So blah, blah, blah. Here's where we started stuff. So when we set out to do this, we want to develop a grassroots appeal to go after this is base, blah, blah, blah. Refresh their mind on what they started. Why is that important? Why do I want to go back? We did this already. Like, why do I do it again?
Reset the stage, remind them of everything that's going on, what their expectations were back when we started.
Exactly, because people get distracted. Oh, that's right. We did have a big conversation about how it was going to be hard to drive response when there was no awareness. But somehow in the middle of this, I started thinking we were going to get donations overnight. Okay? So it's always important to sort of level set. Remember, here's what we set out to do. Okay? And then you want to kind of summarize. Here's where we are. Now, this isn't overly pretty because I said this is a customer's work that I just pirated to show you. So, he could have laid this out a little prettier. Okay? So he's showing what he's doing. Okay? And he's showing what his giving, average gift is, total donations. So that's a summary of results. Okay? So now he's saying, okay, here's what we've learned, okay? We had segmented audience, people who had done classes before, people who were just in the audience, and people who took a seminar are responding at a higher level than just people that are in the database, okay? Email is an effective form of communication with the emergency appeals. So the backstory on the association that was basically funded by the state, and then the state got in trouble and was like, uh-oh, oopsie, no one for you. And the hog because the state was funding everything. And all of a sudden they had to swing into action with the fundraising thing. Okay? So they really had no structure. They had really never done anything. Okay? So first thing they did was go out to people who had participated in the programs that they put on that the state paid for and say, hey, these are going to go away because the state took all our money. Okay? So we figured out that message of the emergency need works at a low level. Like, people will give you money if they like you and you're in a panic, but they won't give you millions of dollars, they'll give you $50. Okay? So we learned that. Requests for smaller gifts made quickly can work when communicating drastic changes. They were saying, look, the state cut our budget by 70%. Like, that got people's attention. Okay, so that part worked. Emails designed to be used in sequence and with short intervals help to enforce the message and increase participation. So we did a good job sending regular emails in quick intervals. Champions campaign. The objective on this one was build a... This was a really dumb idea. Okay? What they were trying to do was look for promoters and get the promoters to recruit their buddies to give more money. Okay? Now, these are teachers. Does anybody have a teacher in the family? Okay, you don't have because you're not loaded up with disposable income. You're like a teacher. Okay? And you're a teacher for a reason. You're not a salesman. Okay? So I was like, this is not going to work. I don't like the sound of this. Okay? But this guy, the sales rep I was working with, was very hot on it because it was his idea. So I was like, well, I'm worried about this because, first off, I don't think they're going to say to all their friends, you have to give money, you have to give money. So I don't think this is going to work. But anyway, he was held to do it. So they sent, the appeal was basically get the champions to get their friends to give money. So here's what they got. Response rate of 3.2%, 39 champions signed up to do it. They got 59 gifts as a result of the champions. They raised 4,000, 14 raised over 200, and so they were eligible for the iPad giveaway. Okay? So I was surprised. I did not think it was going to work. And that's working to some extent. Okay? It's not the greatest I've ever seen, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. They were paying him, like he had him signed up on a year plan, and I think overall they were spending like $30,000 with them or something like that, but there were all these little moving pieces, like we did the emergency appeal, and then he did the champions thing, and then he had a corporate piece in there, so there's a lot of moving pieces. But I actually, so what's your takeaway from this? Well, it might work. Okay?
Yeah, but this was just one section of the.
No, the other campaign's working great. The initial appeal thing, they raised more money than they'd ever raised. Well, now the question becomes, how hard was it to get them to do this? Okay, we had a giveaway to try to get them to get over. The thing was they had to get four people to give $50, and they could win in this drawing for an iPad. So you can see only 14 people raised over $200. Wasn't everybody. Excuse me. Mm-hmm.
No, eligible.
Give one away. Okay. So there's so it's a little bit more cost there. It's not it would perform better than I thought. Okay. But now, how much work did it take? Okay, so now the next thing becomes, we got $1,000, but how much work do we have to do it? And would it be better to put that effort into the regular donor base, because we did pretty well there? So that became the next question. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, but it's certainly better to say you got $4,000 than you got nothing. So we had a positive outcome. Okay. Appeal letter, this was another appeal. There was a spring appeal, a fall appeal, an emergency appeal. There was a lot going on. And now he was basically setting up what's going to come next. Okay? Single version sent to all delayed drop, blah, 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 no cross-channel components. They wanted to do this. We didn't want them to because I didn't think the timing was right, but they did it anyway. So average gift was $45, so it was up 28% over the previous average gift. So again, I keep getting I'm wrong. I hate that. Okay? So single version sent. Now they didn't do cross-channel elements, okay? Because the account just wanted to mail the letter. They're like, we have to mail the letter, we have to mail the letter. And we were like, no, the cross-channel stuff from the first thing worked. Why do you want to rock the boat? But then they were hell-bent to do it, so they did it, and it actually worked okay. So this one's all over the place, okay? It was a piece of the whole thing. Somewhere I probably have it, but it's been a couple years, so I don't remember. I know that ultimately they were paying like $30,000, but I don't remember exactly how much each piece cost. Because basically I'm not doing it, I'm coaching the guy who's trying to sell it, okay? So basically then here's the height of, here's the other thing they did. This is dumb too, I think, but it's December, okay? There's gonna be tons of traffic, okay? And this isn't like give to the poor starving children or give to the poor poverty-stricken children that have no Christmas. This is like help some teachers, take a free seminar. I just wasn't sure this was gonna work. So anyway, so we had the lowest response rate on that, okay? Which in going back and presenting to them is like the timing's bad, okay? All right, so here's how basically it broke down. The alumni appeal raised $16,000. The champions campaign raised $14,000. The fall appeal raised another $16,000, so they were sitting at $37,000 after having never had anything. Yeah. So it's positive, okay? Yeah, but I have nothing. Well, all that was kind of jammed up into like 5 months, if my memory serves. They had nothing. Okay, so yeah, I spent 30 to get 37, but now I have all those donors that are hopefully going to give to me again. So it hopefully doesn't cost me the same 30,000 to get them to give again, because we had to test stuff in there, and now we know what works. Okay, does that make sense? So do you think, like, you guys are all paying? That's good.
It's on the positive side.
The first time out, that's not bad. Now you get better. Yeah. Okay.
Spending 5,000 and getting nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay? So their ROI, and this was not the end of what they were doing. Okay? So remember, this is like through 5 months. Like they started in the fall, they got through the holidays, it might have been early in the next year. So their ROI is 41% year to date, and we still have some time to go. Okay? All right, so now you give them the benefits. Okay? Then you say, okay, here's our action plan. Okay? The goal of raising $200 was too high for such a short amount of time. Next campaign, let's reduce it to $100 for the champions and create a super champions level at $200. Still don't like it. He still wants to do it. I just don't like it, but I'm not always right. And then to give them more time to raise money of 4 weeks, I don't think that's going to help either. Okay, because I'm not thinking they really want to do it, and giving them more time is not necessarily going to be helpful. Okay, campaign action, recruit champions at the end of every seminar. That's Kate. Think about it. They just had a seminar. They loved it. That's when I ask you to be a champion, not a year later when I'm like, remember that time you had? It was so good. Can you help us out? Okay. So help us spread the importance of your development to a larger community sort of is the message. Okay. Back it up with the champions kit and follow up within 2 weeks by phone after the seminar for support. Like jam-pack that into a compressed time limit. Okay. Corporate outreach. So then I said, we are not going to get these teachers to make up the deficit here, because it was like they got $3 million and now they were getting $300,000 or something, like from the state. Like I was like,
Also, it wasn't totally gone.
it was just a lot gone. Okay, so I was like, you got to get more money from someplace else. Okay, so basically I was like, you need a corporate campaign. Here's your messaging, you know. So that he presented that. And I came up with the idea of like adopt a teacher program, which I thought could work. So we were coming back with, here's the, you know, let's take what we did learn and apply it to some new initiatives. And so you basically go through that, okay? And then we just gave them some details of the plan. These were suggestions, like they didn't end up doing it, all of this. We could do Teacher of the Year contest, we could do a School of Year contest, stuff like that. We mocked up the landing page. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. You need a permanent landing page, so this is faster to implement. So we said it's taking too long to go from campaign to campaign and rebuild from scratch. So we're saying do a single landing page and just change the content. So you'll cut your costs down, you'll still be able to be relevant, and you'll drive more revenue. So we showed them kind of a picture of what we were thinking. Does that make sense? And then you give them the next steps, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and here's your recommendations for the spring appeal. And don't forget to ask, are you ready to proceed? So at the end of the conversation, it's like, which pieces of this do you like? Okay, what is our next step? Are you ready to proceed with whatever? So they liked the corporate stuff, so we moved ahead with the corporate stuff. And on my memory serves me, they were still kind of tossing around like how to do the Teacher of the Year award and stuff like that. So the next immediate steps was the corporate program. So the next project was we wrote a corporate letter, we put a corporate letter database together, we mapped out a strategy for board members to follow up, and they launched that. Okay, does that make sense? So that's kind of a complicated thing, but I wanted something real life. So basically, what's working, how can we apply it, what are our next steps? Do you think we, do you want to move ahead with applying this to something else? Yes, I do. Here's our next steps. Does that make sense? Okay. In summary, you want to take control of the process by planning in those review results things at the beginning. You never want to be chasing a customer, hey, we have to go over this. Okay? Incorporate the responsibilities, their responsibilities into directions from the get-go. Because you got them where you want them to be, like I need your data, I need your whatever, and then don't be like, okay, but I forgot to ask you, I'm going to need your sales pipeline. Like, so as long as you're telling, here's your responsibilities, you have to give me a database and you have to do this, like, and I'm going to need you to give me the leads that you're generating so we can compare it. Okay? This never works as well when you chase them after the fact for pieces of information. Anybody have a story to tell on that? Trying to go back to get somebody? Seriously? Okay. Well, I'll just tell you, it's really hard because they've moved on to the next thing. Okay? Always, always, always look for the bright spots and build on the bright spots. There's always something that worked. Okay? And then for successful campaigns, use the results presentation to go beyond to the next project or the next customer or the referral, whatever it is that you want. So you never end that with, isn't it great? You want to be like, where else can we apply this? Okay? Making sense? Okay, so here's our final exercise. So you can look this up in the book. Local manufacturer will attend a trade show in November. They have a targeted list of companies that should need their product. It will be specific to manufacturers that have recently switched to a just-in-time distribution channel. They want to leverage their existing company, which has provided testimonials for almost every industry they are targeting. Their product is innovative, and they've created a video of it that they can showcase. Their objectives are to drive attendance at the trade show and capture and deliver qualified leads to the sales team so that the company can deliver 20% year-over-year growth in the first quarter of the following year. Everybody got their marching orders? Questions? All right, so how much time do we have? Okay, so we're going to net this out so we can finish up at 4:15. So don't pay attention to the 30 minutes, okay? So you got to think about what you want to do. You can come up to the whiteboard or to your flip chart, map out. Remember that diagram where we had like email, direct mail goes to a landing page, you know, qualification questions? Like try that, okay? So be like, here's going to be my channels out. Here's where I'm going to funnel them to. Here's the 3 things. Don't go crazy. Here's the 3 things I want to learn on that landing page. Okay, so that's what you're mapping out. Does that make sense? Okay, and then we'll be done. We'll review it and we'll be done. Okay, and I'll be here because you have questions. All right, so keep your 4 people groups.
So do they already have the testimonials?
Yeah, they have the testimonials. They have the testimonials for every market that they want to target, and they have a video. Okay, so when you get to what am I going to put on that landing page, what are you thinking you're putting on it? Yeah, good. Okay. Yep. Back to your original group, so we have 4 of them. So that was you guys down here. Okay, so does everybody, you guys, like, let me just, so you want to, like, just so, I'll do an example. So you're going to say, here's my outbound channels. Okay, so what are you going to use? Okay, so it'd be direct mail, it'd be email, it'd be social, whatever you want to do. Then you're going to put, like, I'm going to push them to something to track, the landing page or whatever. Then you're going to write what that is, and then you're going to say, I want to track this, this, and this. 3 things max, because we don't want to get too convoluted. Okay? Okay, Jeff. Spokesmodel Jeff. I know, you're a model. All right. Group 2, you almost done? Okay. All right, so let's see what we're going to do. Okay? All right, take it away, Jeff.
All right, here's what we know. We know the names of the companies. We do not necessarily know the names of the people there. So we're going to do a mailer to these companies that will have a QR code or link driving them to a video.
Okay.
And what I've asked you to show things that we will be tracking.
Okay, okay, good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The link will capture their name, their email, their contact information From there, we can do a follow-up email. We'll have a different follow-up email to those who respond, and then a separate follow-up email to those who have not responded. And then all of this, of course, is to drive them to the show. The video is basically an invitation to the trade show. At the show, we'll have a hospitality room, and we will track attendees, their info, qualify their needs, their interests, and make sure they are a qualified sales list. How we will get them to the show, these videos and emails will include a call to action incentive, offering a giveaway, some sort of incentive to get them to our trade shows. We can have the personal contact and do the lead qualifying there.
Okay. So we're going to track how many people fill out the lead capture form, right?
We'll track here.
So
we'll track,
and clicks on the video.
we're tracking here.
And email opens and responses or opens and click-throughs to the invite. Is the invite in the email? Or is that just reminding
that
them?
will reinforce the invite,
Okay.
the original invite, which was in the video, yes.
Okay. All right. Now, so how's the hospitality room data going to be collected?
The hospitality room data, how will it be collected?
Well, you said like I'm going to find out their info, qualify their needs and interests. How's that going to happen?
That's going to be on a personal one-to-one basis, I guess, unless my teammates have thought of something else that I haven't thought of.
Okay. All right. What's the one qualifier that we know for these people? Well, they're at the trade show, but what we knew that you're more if you're a just-in-time distribution model, the software is more relevant to you. Okay, so I'm going to have people that came to that show, because I don't know that. Like, you can't figure out who has that kind of a distribution. It's like data or anything. Okay. So I'm going to have all those people invited from other manufacturing companies, which is my target market. But my segment is a subset of that, people who are just in time, right? So I am only at this point going to have a bunch of people, bunch of manufacturers in a room, not all of which are just in time. What does it say?
It looks to me like the list was specific.
You already have your target list.
Recently switched.
Oh, okay. All right. So we know that. Okay. All right. Can't even remember what I put on these things. Okay. All right. Now, if though I didn't know that, let's say I didn't know that. Okay. So I knew it was specific to them, but I don't know who they are. Okay. I know they're a manufacturer, but some have just in time, some don't. Okay. What would I need to? How would I change that so that I'm productive? I don't have the salespeople talking to the wrong people. Yes.
You can have a giveaway just to capture who came to your booth. With that, you already knew when it's coming because it could be pre-registered or if they email blast or whatever, you know who you're blasting to.
Are they RSVPing to the invite?
I don't know if theirs are done on ours, so I can't see it.
Okay. Oh, you're so teacher's pet. Okay. So did you send them a paper or a printed invitation? Did they have to RSVP on a landing page? Okay. Okay, so if you did that, then on the landing page I can say, hey, by the way, what kind of distribution model do you have, just in time, whatever. And now I can say to my salespeople, when this guy shows up, go after him. Okay? Because we know they have it. Okay? But everything else looks pretty good. Anyone see anything they want to change? Okay, good job. You excited? Go sell something. Okay. Now who's my flow chart person? Okay. All right, so take us away with our flow chart.
Okay, so we assume that we had emails and addresses for these people. So, but we're going to do a mailer, a personalized. It's going to have a just-in-time theme on the mailer, so that would
It's relevant. Okay.
be more relevant to what we're looking for. If we knew anything about, I don't know how big the list is, but if there was different industries, we'd try to maybe version it so that could have different pictures specific to, like, if it was like 4 different industries, you could like have different pictures that.
Let's say I was Right.
almost every industry.
Right, okay.
Matching industry to the industry.
Right.
So if we had a testimonial
The only thing
for-
is relevant, or the only thing that changes is, like that Canon example, is the testimonial is relevant to the market. I wouldn't have to expend a lot of effort trying to rewrite copy and everything on their brochures specific to that market. I could make that
Yeah,
piece.
you could just change out the testimonial
Yep.
then. So,
Right, exactly. But it's going to be relevant because it'll be a company they've heard of, a company in their market. It'll be good. Okay.
so the both the email and the mailer would actually we do the mailer first, and then send the email out a little bit later, and they would invite them to go to the landing page, see a video that shows it in action. Once they watch the video, then we'd encourage them to come to the trade show. We'd ask if they are planning on attending, and then that would give us an idea. We would invite them to the Mixer event.
You
and,
guys are the best party planners. No, everybody likes to do an event. Okay, keep going.
If they say they're not going to come, then we'd put their data in for follow up later.
Okay.
That they maybe it's something they can't come, but they might still be interested. If they say yes, then we'd ask permission if we could email and text them like the day before the event as a reminder, and then we'd have a after show follow up with hopefully phone call and emailing, and then if they didn't do anything from this, then we'd send out like another email just to, maybe they missed the first one to drive them back to the landing page.
What are we tracking?
Well, we know who responded to the mailer,
Okay.
and then or who responded to the email. So if we know if they got there, and then we know if they watched the video, we know if they're answer the question that yes or no. So we know how many people we're expecting to see at the show, and then the ones that didn't come to the show, we get information from them as well. And then when they show up, they're supposed to register for a door prize at the Mixer as well. So.
Okay. All right. So here's an idea. Let's say the video is like 20 minutes long. I mean, that happens. Okay. Do I want to put that on the landing page? No, I do not. Okay. But if I was going to show the video, now they do those like big unveilings and they're showing, like I could get their phone number and text them, we are about to start the showing of the innovative new whatever. Okay. So that would be kind of cool, right? Okay. All right. So I like that. Okay. You guys and your parties. Okay. All right. Who's next? Or do you have a party? Tell me you have a party.
We do. So we've got the postcard. We're going to send a postcard out to the targeted list that they supplied us. And we're going to have like little social drinks and whatever, just
Head of force.
Well, when I go, it's like the Graph Expo, I get invites to these little get-togethers, right? So anyway, on this postcard, they will go to the website. Since it didn't necessarily say that we knew who the people were
Okay.
that we were targeting, so then they'll fill out our form, and it'll get their information, email, all that fun stuff. But we're going to put 3 questions on there, which would be specific to the product or their industry. And after they filled that out, we gather that information, it would go to another page saying, thank you for filling it out. We look forward to seeing you, blah, blah, blah. It would have the video of our company that we wanted on there. And then if they decide to click on that and watch that, then we'll know they're interested, and we might offer this company the available, like, for us to call them immediately. So they'll see someone's watching their video, and they can call them if they want to, since we just gathered their information.
Okay.
And then, after we have all that, we're going to send a second postcard as a reminder saying, we look forward to seeing you. And then hopefully we can customize it in such a way using those 3 questions so that it kind of looks, and then we would use their referrals depending on what they said in these 3 questions, like what trade they are, whatever, and the referral quote that goes with them, kind of specify that. And then also, I don't know, this is kind of an aside, but if we can get the trade show list, because usually at that point, the vendors can get a list of who's going, and we mail them a postcard, not necessarily inviting them to the party, but just introducing our product, and going to the same page though, I believe. And then what did I miss? What did you say to add?
We're gonna take video.
Oh yeah. So at the no, yeah. So yes, but it's a new product, right? It's a new product, so I don't know if we can get testimonials for it there, but anyway, we can. An idea was to take videos at the trade show and then email them out. Hey, check yourself out on our website in your video, and give them another chance to interact.
Now, the only thing about yours that I wonder about, I mean, there's no exact science to
The
this.
only thing? That's
No, is like if I have an innovative product and the video is supposed to show that innovation, I might not get them to RSVP to come without seeing it. Because I'm going to get invitations, just like you said, from 16,000 vendors at the trade show wanting me to come.
So show it first.
There's a video, and in the video, it gets a phone call. You get a phone call.
Yeah, but it's after they RSVP. Okay,
Yeah.
so you just need to think that one through. Like, do I want them to see that, because does that push them through to register?
Yeah, actually,
Okay,
it's
so
funny.
just think that through.
The reason that we moved it was because we were going to get a phone call while they were registering. We thought that'd be too much. But then if they were watching the video and got a phone call.
Well, now the lovely part of this is you can do it that way to start. And if you see people falling off, they're not registering, you can reverse the order. Okay, I bring the video page first, I put the sign up for the party second. I get them to see the video. Ah, that's interesting, I would like to see that. And then RSVP, I could switch it midstream.
But on the other hand, the lady talking to you on the phone, I'm doing this off the hood, will say, oh, John, don't worry about that. I'll register for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is actually a foolproof plan, and there's no holes in it.
Oh.
And you voted.
And it has a party, so, you know.
You didn't get here for the wine is the problem.
Okay, all right. Let's hear from group 4. Good job.
Well, we're pretty much in line with everybody else. We did not obsess about the party.
Oh, microphone. Where is it? Oh, Marilyn, right there.
We're pretty much in line with everybody else. We did not obsess about the party, but we assumed that our list of people that we got were registrants at the trade show. So
Okay, that's fine.
we didn't deal with the not coming issue.
Okay.
We did send them to the landing page, and we put the video on the landing page with some testimonials, but Province questions that he came up with, we felt like would help qualify the leads and also figure out what their interest was. He's asking, do you need to reduce inventory costs? Do you need to increase efficiency? And do you need to improve bottom line, which is the whole issue behind a just-in-time delivery system? So if they answered that question, then we would know better how to market to their pain point. And then we had a let us show you how at the trade show, visit us, and oh, by the way, here's a white paper on something related to however this, whatever supports doing this in the industry. And then come to our trade, and
Okay.
our prize and fun was at the booth at the trade
Was
show.
a party at the booth?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we were going to have a television set, obviously, at the trade show, video there, and banners with the testimonials and that sort of stuff.
Okay. All right, so good plan. Okay, I like the qualification questions. That's good. And then they have a double qualifier. Okay, so they've got, did you answer the questions that qualifies you, and did you want the white paper? So if I answer the questions but didn't take the white paper, I'm probably slightly less qualified than the person who did all of it. So I've actually created a scoring mechanism. Okay, so that's pretty good. All right, now the only thing I would add to that is we don't know what this thing costs. Okay, don't forget the dimensional mail. Okay, or something besides a postcard. Okay, because remember, it's a trade show, and so just like you said, I've got like a 15 million postcards coming. Come to this booth, come to that booth. Like, it's not going to stand out. Another postcard maybe. So I like the idea of the personalized invitation here because that could look special. Okay, cut through the clutter, get through. The other way to do that is if it's a significant sale. I don't, we didn't go that far in the story, but if it was a significant sale, then you could do a dimensional thing. And how about this, guys? For the people who don't come, you could mail them a party in the box. Okay? Sorry we missed you at the party. So here's some nuts. Yeah. And here's some food, here's a balloon, blow it up, and here's your very favorite squeezy ball. Yeah, exactly. And you could have the box when it opened, it played audio. Yeah. Okay, glitter, be fun.
I have a training needs survey question for this group.
Uh-huh.
How many of us are capable of creating that landing page website that we called for in this book?
Why do you always ask questions like that? Okay, but you can get help to do that. Okay?
You can have centers in the system that can build out any page for you.
I know there are some.
Yeah.
But I guess my suggestion is we all need to be capable of that if we're going in this direction.
Right, or and we have talked about this, we need to wrap it up, but like I don't recommend that as you're starting this that you go out and buy the most expensive piece of software you can find and all. I'd rather you do a few of these and get a partner and be like, okay, I made that happen, it worked. Okay, I think I can sell some more of it, then I'll go make the investment. Okay, so let a friend do it. If you have a friend in the system, do it, or go back to the vendors and say, yeah, I'm really interested in your software, but I'm not going out on that limb just yet. Could you help me implement this thing and make sure that it works and give me some confidence? Like, there's some that will do that for you. Okay, so it doesn't make sense to go buy stuff if you can't sell it. The bigger problem is selling it. So sell it and then get the solution that will give you what you want. Okay? Now, how do you guys, when we started this, you were all like little cowering, 2 years ago, we don't know anything, Kate, we just know anything. And you guys are designing campaigns with landing pages and videos and parties. Okay? How do you feel about the last 2 years? You are smarter than you think. You really are. Yeah, much smarter than a fifth grader. Okay, so we are done. Okay? I really appreciate the chance to work with you all these times. Let me just, okay, so we're finished up. So in summary, what are the key themes? Smarter than you think. Get in the freaking pool, okay? Try some, now you guys, no one raised their hand, but then as we went through this, so I did this and I did that, so you just were chicken. Okay? You have started doing stuff. So you can do it. Build on that. Everything you do, try to add one more little piece to it. And get smarter and smarter as you go. Okay? Barry and Sharon. Sharon needs to put a QR code to a link to, does she have a tape of the play? Do a scene on the QR code? Okay, how cool would that be? In the book? Okay? All right, so basically lots of good things. I think Jay's going to come up and graduate you. Dun, 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 dun. Okay.
Another round of applause for Kate, please.
Thank you, Kate. And Gary's going to come up here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Are you getting this on tape? Are you getting this on tape? No, okay.
Gary's going to switch out the computers real quick because I have something I want to show you. In the meantime, let's go ahead and give away the last $50 gift certificate. And this one is from Southwest Binding and Laminate. And Kate, I'll let you draw a name out of there. And we pulled all the people that aren't here out.
Oh, brilliant. And the winner is David Scott.
All right, David. $50.
Not plan the party.
All right, it's been, that 2 years went by really quick, didn't it? For focus group and for the marketing certification. Thank you so much for doing this for us, Kate. We really appreciate it. We are talking on 2 info trends about doing some continuation of this and focus group, and as we get that all sorted out, I'll have more information for you, but we're looking forward to doing some more things in 2015. Gary, how do I advance this? I'm advancing hers, but not mine. Okay, this is the tag that we've chosen. Go ahead and move it forward, Gary.
You should have another clicker. Did you take it?
That's just another version of it. Go ahead and advance again. Here's what it would look like on a sample business card. Go ahead, Gary. Sample of your letterhead. Move forward. We've got it in a dark and a grayscale type. And here's a copy of the certificate that you are going to be receiving. Probably take us about 2 to 3 weeks to get these printed out and framed and mailed out to you. So be looking for it. What we're going to do is we're going to send one to the individuals that attended all 4, or if you've taken the quiz that we had online, you'll receive one individually, but we're going to do another one for the center. Okay, so you'll have one to display in your lobby that shows that the center is qualified because you've had an individual go through, and then each individual that attended will also get a certificate. Okay? Few other things before we wrap up. Dinner this evening, Jeff, Scott, and Jason. Anybody else staying for dinner? Okay, so just you 3. I think the Carltons may be joining you. I just want to let the kitchen know the count. And then I'll get with each of you on transportation. And that's all I have. Thank you so much for attending the conference and the marketing certification class. And yeah, fill out your critiques, leave them, and Gary and I, and how about a hand for Gary too? Everybody have safe travels home, and we'll talk to you soon.